What is going on, everybody? My name is Anthony, aka Tone4, and I'm bringing you my Week 10 match for the NES, or the National Exhibition Syndicate. This week, we go up against the Mad Danny coach of the Aston Charizards. Now, coming off of a nice 5-0 victory over the Nottingham Forest Curse in our last battle, we look to keep the momentum going into this battle against a very solid battler in his own right, and he has a very, very threatening team across the board. This will give you a brief rundown of my opponent's team. Starting off, he has that Hydreigon. Great Pokemon, Wall Breaker, good choice Scarf User, access to U-Turn, Draco Meteor, Dark Pulse, Burst Power, Flash Cannon for my Mega Gardevoir. Just a great solid mon in general. Has that Ferrothorn, a good stop to my to the Gardevoir not carrying Hidden Power Fire. And stuff Stealth Rock, Spikes, Leech Seed, Thunder Wave, Gyro Ball, Power Whip. The list goes on and on. Rotom Heat, another good check to my Mega Gardevoir. It resists Hyper Voice. But it's not really that it's threatening in a sense that it can burn my physical attackers, but at the same time, Rotom Heat is walled with my Lantern, which I'll get to in a second. He has Metagross, another good stop to my Mega Gardevoir with that Steel Second typing. Can run also a Stealth Rock user, get access to Bullet Punch, Meteor Mass, and Headbutt, Earthquake. Can run a bulky Assault Vest set, which I'm expecting, most likely, for my Mega Gardevoir. He has run Agility Weakness Policy in previous weeks, so I have to be wary of that too. Flygon, a Pokemon, I'm not really expecting the Flygon to come simply because it's his only way of removing hazards outside of the Golbat, but Flygon is not really, I think, between his two dragons, Hydreigon will most likely come over the Flygon simply because Hydreigon puts in more work and it's a much bigger issue than Flygon. But if he does bring it, he'll probably be like a defog set, like a bulky defog set with Roost, with Dragon Claw, Earthquake, U-Turn for momentum. Golbat, kind of not expecting either, because it is set up fodder for a few of my Pokemon. It is a good bulky defogger. It can Toxic, Super Fang, Roost, can Taunt, but at times I don't really see it really being an issue. He has that Mega Sableye, which can be problematic, but my Mega Gardevoir does handle it pretty well, which is also an issue because he has 3 ways to deal with my Mega Gardevoir, so it's still a toss-up for me whether or not to bring it Mega Gardevoir or not, but I'll explain my thought process in a bit. Azumarill, another scary Pokemon, can run Choice Band, can go bulky Assault Vest, can do Belly Drum, but I'm not expecting, if I see Azumarill, I probably am not going to expect Belly Drum. He's also run defensive Sap Slipper as a way to deal with to counter Breeding from the Cleveland Cavaliers team, so I have to be worried of that. Since and I am bringing Gorgeist, so I'm hoping he doesn't bring Sap Slipper or Zumo and screw up my plans. Gyarados, bulky, can be a Dragon Dance sweeper, bulky Dragon Dance, sub DDs, taunt, Thunder Wave, or defensive, intimidate to weaken my physical attackers. Moxie can be very threatening. Rhydon, I'm not expecting as much. I mean, it's a Stealth Rocker. It's very bulky, but I have Manaphy, I have Gorgeist. I have ways to take down Rhydon, so I don't really expect to see the Rhydon coming. And lastly, he does have Blaziken, of course, Blaziken with Blaze, with Speed Boost, but he has used Blaziken in prior weeks very well as an agility baton passing set to his policy Metagross, which did a tremendous amount in that match. So that's basically a look over his team. Now, looking at my team here, and the reasons why I brought what I did. The lead off the team, we have Eddie Gordo. Start off the team, we have an Assault Vest Hitmontop with Close Combat, Stone Edge, Earthquake, and Mach Punch. This coverage, the moves here are pretty Pretty much allows me to cover a good portion of this team. Close combat hits a Hydreigon, Stone Edge for the Gyarados and the Rotom Heat. Earthquake hits the Rhydon without having to drop my defenses, and Lock Glitch for priority. The EV spread's a bit all over the place, but to explain it, I'm running max HP, make it as bulky as possible. 52 EV to attack with the Adamant Nature lets my Hitmontop always one-hit KO a Hydreigon from full with close combat, which is what the investment's for. The 20 EVs in special defense, but the Assault Vest ensures that my Hitmontop can take 2 Draco Meteors from a non-Life Orb Hydreigon, and the rest is put into defenses to patch up, to give it a little extra physical bulk, and the 4 in speed outspeeds uninvested Metagross by 1 point. So, Hitmontop is basically my offensive check to the Hydreigon. If it does bring Sableye, it'll be a little bit of an issue because I can't spam close combat as freely as I want to, and Rotom Heat I have to catch on switch and Stone Edge. I don't want to waste my close combat PP along my defense for no reason. So that's my Hitmontop's job, is to be an offensive Hydreigon check for the most part. Now moving on to the second Pokemon on the team, we have back for another week. We have Luminati, the Lantern, with rocking the Shucker Berry this time and Volt Absorb with Scald, Thunderbolt, Dazzling Gleam, and Hidden Power Fire. Lantern is my dedicated switching to Rotom Heat, as it prevents it from Volt switching, Thunderbolt, and it resists Overheat. Shuckleberry is here for in case he has Earth Power Hydreigon, Earthquake Gyarados. I live, I retaliate with a Thunderbolt, takes out the Gyarados, Dazzling Gleam takes out the Hydreigon. Hidden Power Fire is here for the Ferrothorn and the Metagross. But I can scold the Metagross here because I really do fear the weakness policy set, and AQ does a ton to my Lantern. So to put it in retrospect, I'm running 240 in special attack with the modest nature as hard as possible, and the EVs are balanced out between defense and special defense to give it good mixed bulk overall. Just so it can take Gyarados EQ if it's set up, or a Hydreigon Earth Power if it's not Life Orb, Retaliate, Thunderbolt kills the Gyarados, Dazzling Gleam deals with Hydreigon. But more or less, Lantern is my Rotom Heat switching, my dedicated Rotom Heat switching. So, on to the third Pokemon here, we have Camilla, the Gorgeist, rocking Cobra Berry and Frisk with Will-O-Wisp, Synthesis, Seed Bomb, and Rock Slide. Pretty straightforward with what I want to do with this Gorgeist. I want to switch it on physical attackers, potentially burn the Ferrothorn, I can burn the Azumarill, burn Gyarados if it's not Lumberry, burn the Metagross, Seed Bomb for the Azumarill and the Rhydon, and Rock Slide lets me hit Rotom Heat and Gyarados on the switch. Cobra Berry lets me take a knockoff from Azumarill, and I'm running just a simple max HP, max physical defense with the Impish Nature. I could have potentially brought like an offensive tank Gorgeist, but I thought the defenses would be a lot better for me, as this is my dedicated response to his physical mons, his Gyarados, his Ferrothorn. I can switch it on Elite Seed, stuff like that. So, now we move on to our fourth Pokemon here, which is going to be Nidoqueen, the Stealth Rock 3 attacks, Passion Berry set, Stealth Rock, Sludge Wave, Fire Blast, Thunderbolt, no Earth Power, simply because I don't really expect the Rhydon or the Blaziken to come, and he does have Hydreigon and Flagon, which are immune to ground or levitate, and I have no way of hitting either of them. And Passion Berry lets me live a super effective water attack from the Azumarill, retaliate with a Sludge Wave, live a Waterfall from the Gyarados, retaliate with a Thunderbolt. Fire Blast is for the Ferrothorn and the Metagross. Um, I didn't really need to outspeed anything on his team, considering that if this Gyarados is running max speed, I'm slow regardless, and I thought the bulk would be a lot better in this battle. So max special attack, max HP, let's be his. It means takes hits and be as bulky as possible. Um, Now onto the fifth Pokemon here, we have Splish Splash the Manaphy back for another week with Tail Glow 3 attacks. Tail Glow, Scald, Dazzling Gleam, Hidden Power Fire. This hits a good portion of his team for super effective damage. Um, I'm not rocking with Canberry as Rotom-Pete is dealt with by Lantern. He doesn't have any grass types. He has Ferrothorn, but I have Camilla as a switching. Scald for stab, potential burn on the Metagross, on the Ferrothorn, on the switch. Dazzling Gleam hits the Hydreigon and the Flygon. Also does a Mega Sableye. I forgot to mention that for Lantern too, which will also has Dazzling Gleam. And Hidden Power Fire is here for the Ferrothorn as well as the Metagross. Again, I could have ran enough speed to outspeed Hydreigon, but if I do see Hydreigon, I'm automatically going to assume, first and foremost, that it is Choice Scarf, because looking at his team, his fastest Pokemon is Flygon. And if I don't see Flygon and I see Hydreigon, I am immediately going to assume it's Choice Scarf. And if it is Choice Scarf, then all that speed I put on my Manaphy would have been for nothing. So I decided just to be a max special attack, max HP, balance out defense and special defense. And this is basically what I'm going to use in early game, just to wear down his Pokemon a lot. Between Manaphy and Nidoqueen, it's going to be pretty difficult for me to try to set the Tail Glow. I'll try regardless, but he does have some threats I need to deal with. First and foremost, like if he's running like Aquaberry Ferrothorn, then Hidden Power Fire doesn't do that much damage, even at +3. He can retaliate with Power Whip, so I have to be careful about that. And the last member of the team, we have Cyndaquil the Scolipede with Sword Stance, Lumberry. Sword Stance 3 attacks with the Lumberry and Speed Boost. Sword Stance, Mega Horn, Poison Jab, and Earthquake. This is my dedicated late game sweeper. Scolipede is here to basically, it is my main win condition in this battle, simply because after a speed boost, it outspeeds his entire team, bar the Scarf from Flygon. But like I said, Flygon is a Pokemon I'm not really thinking he's going to bring, simply because it wouldn't make sense for him to bring both Flygon and Hydreigon on the same team. And I'm expecting Hydreigon on both Flygon, so I would outspeed a Scarf. Flygon with what the investment's here for. And because of that, I have to run Jolly. Lumberry is here so I can set up in front of the Mega Sableye, like an SD on the Will-O-Wisp. I can eat the Lumberry, and if it's weakened enough, Mega Horn will kill. Poison Jab will kill the Azumarill. Mega Horn also hits the Hydreigon. And Earthquake is here for the Blaziken, the Rhydon. I was initially going to go Aqua Tail, but at the same time, I didn't want Gyarados. I was going to go Aqua Tail, but I changed it last minute because I didn't want Ferrothorn to be an issue, as I didn't want to take unnecessary rough skin, Iron Barb's Rocky Helmet damage, which is why I went for Earthquake. Like I said, max attack, as hard as possible. 148 speed with a Jolly Nature lets my Scolipede outspeed a non-Scarf Hydreigon, timid max speed Hydreigon. And if he is his Choice Scarf Fairy after a speed boost, I definitely outspeed. So that's basically going to be the team builder for my match. And now I'm going to switch over to the battle I had against Danny, and I'll be right back. Alright, we are back with my match against the Mad Danny, and looking at his team, it wasn't the team I was expecting for the most part. He doesn't bring Metagross, he does bring the Ferrothorn, he brings the Rotom-Heat, he brings the Gyarados, and I definitely was not expecting him to bring that right on at all. I have Manaphy, I have Gorgeist. If he's a tank set, my Manaphy, my Lantern outspeeds, hitting the skull. I have basically 2/3 of my team has either water, grass, or fighting coverage. And I'm kind of regretting now not putting Earth Power on my Nidoqueen because Nidoqueen cannot touch Rhydon. Nevertheless, though, I figured that he would try to lead with his Rhydon and get rocks, or he would just lead off with his Mega Sableye and try to get the quick Mega Evolution off. But nevertheless, I felt that potential lead for him could either be the Mega Sableye, the Hydreigon, just to scout where I'm going to lead with myself. He can lead over with Ferrothorn if he's rocks on that, and Rhydon can be like a rock polished set. Who knows? So I'm just gonna start this battle here, and I'm gonna lead off here with he's only with Hydreigon. I lead off with my Manaphy simply because I felt as though Manaphy had the best matchup against everything on his team except for the Ferrothorn, and we're just switch that immediately. So in this turn, I decided that I was kind of debating two things. Either I go for Tail Glow or I go for the Dazzling Gleam. But the thing is, I'm most likely he's not going to switch out. I mean, he is going to just U-turn out of my Manaphy. As I'm not running any speed, he outspeeds me, he does whatever the heck he wants. So he goes for the safe U-turn here. Gets up a good amount of damage. He goes out into his Ferrothorn as I go for the Dazzling Gleam, which does pitiful damage. So I'm immediately thinking he's a specially defensive variant. Right now, let's skip ahead. But then I don't see leftovers, so immediately I'm assuming he's Aquaberry or like Rocky Helmet. So I make the safe. I go to the Nidoqueen to predict the Power Whip or the Leak Seed, whatever he wants to do. He goes for the Power Whip and it does over half. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. That did a lot of damage to my max HP Nidoqueen, which led me to believe he is offensive Ferrothorn, offensive Aquaberry Ferrothorn, or some variation of this sense. So I debated two things. Either I A, get up my Stealth Rocks, or I B, go for the Fire Blast and attack what's in front of me. I go for the Fire Blast here, as he pulls out and makes a switch into the Sableye. I go for Fire Blast, I miss, unfortunately. So now he gets I have to switch out, I go directly into my Manaphy. He gets the Mega off, he goes for the Toxic, predicting my switch, which was a great play on his part. So now my Manaphy's on a timer, which I didn't want. I go for the Tail Glow here, try to set up in front of this Mega Sableye. He goes for Shadow Ball, just trying to weaken me down, it does absolutely nothing. And now I go for free Dazzling Gleam on something. He decides to stay in and sack off the Mega Sableye. I don't know if the crit mattered, I doubt it did. But now we're up 6-5. And now we go down to Hydreigon here. Now, either one of two things was going to happen here. He was either going to A, attack me directly like a Draco Meteor, or U-turn on my switch to Hitmontop. Because Hitmontop is my dedicated response, my offensive response to the Hydreigon. And I didn't want to sack off my Manaphy for no reason because it still puts in a lot of work against his team. With that being said, I'm just going to switch out directly into my Hitmontop here, get the Intimidate off, as he goes for Draco Meteor, and it does 48%. So I can take one more Draco Meteor. He switches out into his Gyarados, which is a good play. I try to predict that in Stone Edge. I missed that too! Oh, that... I know it wouldn't have did that much damage if I hit because of the Intimidate, but any damage on this Gyarados would have been great, because now he gets up a free Dragonite, and I'm forced to switch here into my Gorgeist, which is what I end up doing here. As I go on to Gorgeist, I first can see the Lumber, I can't even burn him, and he goes for the Dragonite. Now I have to hit him with a Rock Slide and try to wear him down. When he goes for the Ice Fang, that's a 3-hit KO, and he flinches me. So, In the first 10 turns of this battle, I've missed the Fire Blast, I've missed the Stone Edge, and my Gorgeist gets flinched. And the only thing I got out of it was the fact that he has a dead Mega Sableye. And because of that, he gets up another Dragon Dance, and I have to go for the Rock Fight for damage. Doesn't do that much, I'm not even invested. Now he gets to go for Ice Fang, takes out my Gorgeist. So Gorgeist again didn't put in any work to that damage. And I go directly into my Lantern. Now, knowing this, he's probably like, okay, why in the world is he up Lantern? Like, is he hoping that I live? That he's like a sash or something like that? But I know he has to go for Earthquake here, and I know he has the Earthquake. I sent out Lantern specifically because I knew he had Earthquake. What he didn't expect was my Shuckleberry Lantern. So he goes for the Earthquake, I eat that Shuckleberry, yum, 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 yum. And goodbye, Gyarados with the Thunderbolt. I am not getting 6-0 by Gyarados. I will be damned if I let that happen. And now he goes down to the Ferrothorn here. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to sack this thing off now, because the only thing it has any useful for is to stop Worm Heat. So I'm thinking, okay, he has to be Aqua Berry, so I'm gonna just break make him eat the Aqua Berry. I go for the HP Fire. So I go for Hidden Power Fire, does 40%, and I see no Aqua Berry. He goes for the knockoff, predicting some switch. I think he was predicting my switch into Nidoqueen, which would have been which I went for knockoff. And instead of me predicting the Hydreigon here on the another HP Fire, I decided to go for HP Fire again instead of Dazzling Gleam, because like I said, I was trying to sack this thing off anyway. So I go for Hidden Power Fire again, doesn't do anything. So now I'm going to go back out into my Nidoqueen, going to Nidoqueen to sack it off. And he goes for the U-turn instead. So now he goes right back out into it. Now goes down to running Heat this time. And now it's sort of a 50-50 for him. Well, not really a 50-50, but he can't Volt Switch, he can't Thunderbolt because I'm a Nidoqueen. He has to overheat me. And I'm keeping Lantern around simply because of the fact that it still can deal with the run of heat, and it forces him to overheat regardless. So I decided in this point to just sack it off to an overheat. I go out into my Manaphy or my Hitmontop and just try to weaken this thing. So in this case, I decided to sack off the Nidoqueen to the overheat. I really wasn't putting in that much work actually. Got Earth Power at home, so now I go back out into Manaphy here. And while a Scald was obvious, I could have predicted Hydreigon or the Ferrothorn. I just wanted to attack what's in front of me. So he makes a good switch into the Ferrothorn here. No one can take any hit. So I just go for the Scald, try to get the burn on the Ferrothorn. I get no burn. So now the top thing is wearing me down now. So now I figured, okay, I have HP Fire on this Manaphy, and this should take out Ferrothorn in this range. It should. So I go for Hidden Power Fire. It lives on 1%, and he goes for the Gyro Ball. I don't really know why he went for Gyro Ball, and it's on that turn. I mean, Gyro Ball didn't. I mean, unless he was predicting like Scolipede, but I wouldn't say on Scolipede at all in this situation because. Or wasn't it, I don't know if it was a misclick or not, but he went for Gyro Ball regardless, thinking it would take me out or something like that. But so I then just decided to go for the Dazzling Gleam just to beat the Ferrothorn. So Ferrothorn is gone. So now it's 4-3 in my favor, and I have one more hit of Turn Toxic left in me. He now goes into Hydreigon. My play here was one of two things. I know he's going to go for the U-turn. He has no reason not to U-turn. U-turn takes out my Manaphy. So, in the sense that he does go for U-turn, I decided to sack off Lantern in the case that I can still get one good hit off on the Rotom Heat. With Scald, Lantern is too weak to even bother trying to like predict a Volt Switch or a Thunderbolt. So I just decided to sack off Lantern. It had less value in this game. And they ended up going for Dark Pulse. And I know he's choice stuff from the minute the team preview. I saw team preview, so I go directly out into Hitmontop. Now, what I could have did here was I could have doubled into Manaphy because I'm expecting him to go in the road of Heat and try to get off a Scald. So I know, and I also said it, like I said, I know he's choice stuff. So it's either I still close combat, or I B Stone Edge predicting the road of Heat. I decided to Stone Edge this turn as he pulls a good switch into the road of Heat, predicting my close combat. I go for the Stone Edge. I finally hit. Does a good 57% to this road of Heat. So now now my play here is Hitmontop still has some good use for the Hydreigon in this battle, so I'm just going to click Stone Edge regardless and hope that he doesn't have Will-O-Wisp. But he goes for the Volt Switch, which was a good play, as he goes out into the Rhydon. Had I close combated here, I just wanted to go for Stone Edge. If I had close combated here, it was a 2-hit KO. It would have taken out the Rhydon, and I'd be in a lot better position. But instead, I just wanted to get rid of the Road of Heat, so I went for Stone Edge. Now this turn, I go for the close combat. It lives, and my defense is dropping out for Stealth Rocks. And now I realize he gets the rocks up. I don't have Rapid Spin on my Hitmontop, so my Manaphy is gone. So that one good hit I had planned for Manaphy is no longer possible. So now I have no choice but to stay. If I had Rapid Spin, I would have used it right then and there, or we would have just kept going for Stealth Rock as I kept Rapid Spin, which would also have been a good play. But I decided to finish off the Rhydon here with the close combat. So now with 3-2, he goes out into the Road of Heat. I didn't want to sack off Hydreigon just yet. Hitmontop just yet. And with Stealth Rocks being up, I decided just to sack off Manaphy because I wanted my Hitmontop I wanted my Hitmontop to come in with no defense drops at all. So go back into Manaphy and sack that thing off. I see he goes for the Volt Switch with a good play. So now go back out into Hitmontop. Get the Intimidate off. I just want to get some extra damage on this thing. Go for the Mach Punch. Doesn't take me out. He goes for the Volt Switch. Takes out Hitmontop. And now this was basically going to play what I was trying to set up for the entire time. This last turn. Scolipede wins the game. It would have definitely won the game if I had protected the Sword Stance. I would have protected this turn. But I also won the game if I lived a Dark Pulse or the Hydreigon. If it was Timid Scarf Hydreigon, a Dark Pulse does not kill Scolipede because I have HP investment. It is a guaranteed 2 KO. The only way he would have taken me out is if he critted me if he was Timid Scarf. If he is Modest Scarf Hydreigon, Dark Pulse is a 38% chance to kill after Stealth Rock damage. All I had to do was live the Dark Pulse. Even if I get flinched, I get the speed boost, I outspeed this Hydreigon, I Mega Horn the Hydreigon, I Poison Jab the Mortem Heat, I win the game. All I have to do, live this Dark Pulse. He isn't going to Draco Meteor because he doesn't want to risk the miss, which is perfectly fine. And it's a solid play on his part, so all I had to do was live. Simple. Just live the Dark Pulse. I don't live the Dark Pulse. He gets the high roll, and that unfortunately is the game. So, the unfortunate streak of alternating wins and losses continue. It is a 2-0 loss. I know if I had Protect over Sword Stance, I most likely would have won, but at the same time I also could have missed Mega Horn, which would have been another thing. All of the hacks that happened in the first 10 turns, the Fire Blast miss, the Stone Edge miss, the Gourgeist flinch with the Ice Fang, all of that would have went by the wayside if I had lived this Dark Pulse, I would have taken that 1-0 win in a heartbeat. Unfortunately, Lady Luck did not shine on me this week, and great prep by my opponent. Regardless, not trying to take anything away from his win. If I definitely put Protect over Sword Stance, I probably most likely would have won. But at the same time, I don't want to make any excuses as to my strategy, my team building, why I lost. I'm not the type of person I want to make any excuses. Nevertheless, we are 6-4 now after 10 weeks, differential of +9, and we just gotta bounce back. We gotta keep on going at it. There's still 5 more weeks in the NES before the playoffs start. We're still in fourth place despite the loss, so we're still sitting pretty in playoff position. So our next week opponent is going to be Snapperkins, coach of the Tattletale Tyrantrums, who has a devastating team in his own right. And we have to find a way to deal with Mew plus Mega Pinsir, which is not going to be fun at all. Nevertheless, I will bounce back. It was a tough 2-0 loss, but other than my 6-0 loss earlier in the season, my losses have been relatively close. They've been 2-0, a 2-0 loss, a 1-0 loss, and this 2-0 loss. So they've been relatively close, regardless of the hacks that happened to me. I'm not going to make any excuses. I will bounce back, and I'm just going to leave it at that. If you enjoyed this battle, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, because there's definitely going to be more NES action. There will be my week 1 match of the APA. Will be probably Monday, hopefully. So that will be uploaded as well. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Um, that's all I'm going to say for right now. I'm at a loss for words. But anyway, it's a tough loss, but I'm going to bounce back. Until next time, my name is Anthony, aka Tone14, and I'm going to catch you guys on the flip side. Later!